I'm not a doctor. Don't listen to me. I want to open your eyes and heart as to what's possible. Hello there, Andrew here. I've been on such a journey with health and diet and nutrition and diabetes, high blood pressure, high triglycerides, all of that stuff. Tachycardia, the list goes on. Initially, I went on a juicing fast. While I was doing that, yes, I lost a lot of weight. But then what happened was I just lost all energy and all drive and all passion. Lo and behold, then I started doing bone broths. One thing led to another, and I kind of went keto, and then I went carnivore, and the rest is history. But I've done a lot of other bits and pieces in between. I found out what works for me. I've learned so much. I want to show you how I did it and how you can do it. For years, I had no clue that I had actually gallbladder issues. I didn't know that my liver was working very sluggishly. My bile duct was getting slowly clogged, that my gallbladder was just getting backed up with gallstones and what have you. I had several attacks, not knowing what they were. I went to the emergency room. Again, they didn't know what was going on. They just said I had gastroenteritis. I got home and I read in the notes, in the emergency room notes, it said calcified gallstone in the bile duct. I'm like, why didn't they tell me? They told me it was acid indigestion. I go home, had a steak, because that's what I was eating at the time. Little did I know that what I was doing wasn't the best for the issues that I had at the time. I've got so much to let you know about and to help you maybe overcome some of the issues that you're going through on your journey back to health. This is going to be a massive experiment. I track my stats all the time. I know what I have been over time, how my triglycerides, my cholesterol, and all of that has changed over the years and over the months. And also fighting, right? Fighting with my wife's not around. I'm going to grab that cookie. I'm going to grab that piece of chocolate, that whatever it might be. Battling with those dilemmas that I constantly fight. I want you to come along to be a part of the journey so you can see that if I can do it, you most certainly can. No one was more addicted to food than I am. I'll be very real with it all. I want you to see some of the struggles that I've gone through, some of the heartaches and the brick walls that I keep banging my head into again and again. I was doing pretty good there for a while. Off of all of my medication. Look, one moment. These are all of the medications, 13 to 15 medications in total. Some I was on at different points and most of them I was on at others. I knew it was actually a dentist of mine many years ago that was the tipping point. And he said, Andrew, a lot of the patients that I see come in, once they're on around 2 or 3 medications, that's when I see things go downhill. So he said, I'm begging you, mate. He said, do what you can to get off of these medications. And I already knew better. I'm 57 now. I've been studying diet, nutrition, health, all of that stuff since the age of 16. Literally, I kid you not. In the last 5 years, I've done thousands of hours of learning, of research, not picking those things that reinforce my bias, not confirmation bias. I've just been following the science and where it takes me. And then also, once you learn enough, once you see enough, you start to realize this individual over there, they're not looking at it from this angle, or that individual over here, they're not speaking about these issues or that issue. And some of the biggest problems today is of all the advice that is out there on YouTube, many of them are not sick. Many of them are not coming from a place of really terrible health. And not that I was bedridden, but my days were pretty much numbered. I'm doing this channel so that I can keep myself honest, and I got someone, a group, to cheer me on and keep me honest. I want to create like a support group of sorts for you on your journey. I'm creating an app. I'm building an app. It's being developed right now. It's a HTML5, JavaScript, and all that stuff. It's going to have some nice little animations. More than the silly fancy stuff, it's going to have, in a world of information, where can you go to look at all the different sides of an argument? How can you choose what's best for you? We can choose a diet. We can try keto. We can try carnivore. We can try vegan, vegetarianism, right? All these things. I've done all of that. I've done it all. The biggest thing that we need to sort out for ourselves is our digestion issues. We need to get those things sorted out. We need to be able to absorb all of the nutrients that we can. My 500 calories of a meal, maybe I only absorb 350 calories of it because I'm unable to absorb this, that, or the other. Maybe it's the same for you. Maybe you have different things that you can absorb and some that you can't. So I want to look at all of that. Maybe you can't digest fats because you've been on such a low-fat diet for so many years. Do you know how to increase the bile? Do you even know what bile is? Do you know how gallstones form? Are you thinking about alternate day fasting, which I did for a while? And look, even though things like that are wonderful for the system and for autophagy and for your gut biome and just to get rid of those senescent cells, those cells that die off, the zombie cells and what have you, even though it can make you feel better, when you do fast, are you actually creating a thicker bile, a thicker sludge? Are you slowing things down? Is it the right thing for you to be doing at this moment in time? Not to say that you can't or not to say that you shouldn't. Arm yourself with education, arm yourself with a bit of knowledge and understanding so that you know how to sort it out. Is your high blood pressure because of high insulin, or is it because of an electrolyte imbalance? All these things that once you kind of look at the answers, it just literally might be something very simple, or it might be something that you need to look at it from multiple angles so you can get to the right side of it and sort it all out for yourself. This is just a very impromptu video. I'm on my phone right here. I've got a studio right behind me. I got a 5-person podcast station and table built right here. This table is absolutely solid and it's waiting for guests to come into the studio so we can talk about these things, so we can debate all the different angles. And I've got some wonderful guests lined up, a few individuals that really helps me put in some of the missing pieces of the puzzle. And I was like, I'd not thought about it from that angle before. I've not thought about that aspect before. Some individuals that have truly changed my life and the way that I look at things. Come join me on the journey. I have so much helpful information to give you. I just want to leave you with the little tidbit of information, and that is, it's guesstimated that the average doctor in the United States has about 19 hours of diet, nutrition, education, of understanding of how diet and nutrition and lifestyle impacts our health. I was recently at a consultation and the doctor turned around and said to me, "Mr. Jones, don't feel bad." He said, "It's literally my thought these days that health and the illnesses and diseases we get have so little to do with lifestyle and nutrition." He says, as far as I'm concerned, it's all genetics. I just had to look and listen with disgust, as he truly did not understand and does not understand. And maybe he just fell for his own line of BS. But I'm telling you, we have done this to ourselves very unwittingly. Some of us, a very few, a very small portion of us have genetic issues that arise. But I'll tell you, once you move away from home, once you start living a different life, you're thinking different thoughts, you're putting different food in your body, and you are, through epigenetics, going to create a different series of outcomes. So what I'm telling you is that you can change your future. You can get your health back, and you can lower, if not remove, all of the medication eventually that you're on. I'm not a doctor. Don't listen to me. I want to open your eyes and heart as to what's possible and to possibly have you understand that you can be in control. And it just takes a little bit of education in order to get on the right side of health again. Follow along. Please subscribe. I am working on an app. I'm not going to say when it's going to be available. I'm just working on it. I'm working on all the flow of information. I'm writing out all of the menus. If I'm talking about the heart, where else should I be correlating? What different menu items should I be talking about if I'm talking about, for example, the heart or the liver or the pancreas or the gallbladder or the kidneys, the biliary system in general, the digestive system? How come you have diarrhea? How come you have constipation? All of these things. And there's not just one reason, there's multiple reasons. I want to bring you the guests and the knowledge so that you can put together your own plan and have an understanding of how you're going to climb up and up and up and out of this pit of despair. You know, when I was 50, I thought to myself, your best years are behind you. And it just felt wrong because I was only technically, maybe, possibly halfway through my life. And yet I still felt as though I had so much more to give. I switched up all of my eating habits, my drinking habits, the way that I look after the supplemental habits, which I gotta tell you, probably one of the biggest things I did after switching up the way I ate, after switching up the way that I thought was my supplement. I will say this, one of the biggest miscommunications about supplements in general is RDA, the recommended daily allowance that you see on a subscription bottle. I'm looking around, all I see are medications. On a jar, for example, of vitamin B12 or vitamin B12, it might say something like 12 micrograms or whatever it might be, right? For the RDA. Well, the RDA just means recommended daily allowance. That is the amount of nutrient that you should have before you go into some sort of deficiency within that, for that particular nutrient. Once you are sick, you can't have the RDA and hope to change yourself to be better, to climb up and make things any better at all. What you then need to start looking at is the ODA, the optimal daily allowance. The optimal daily allowance might be 10,000 micrograms instead of 12 micrograms. It's that type of thing that we need to look at together. I want to go through all of these individual aspects about diet and nutrition, and also to let you know that it's not one tablet, it's not one pill or eating a magic food that's going to fix you. That's not the way we do it. We do it as a whole. We do it in combination with all of the other aspects of who we are. The mental, the nutrition, the spiritual, all this stuff, the rest, the exercise. I've gone from 235, at one point 245, down to 181 pounds through the way that I live alone. I'm not exercising. I haven't started to exercise yet. I will, and I'm not skinny fat. I've lost weight and I feel awesome. I could do with more strength, and I'm getting to that point. And I think there's a degree at which there's a point in which I'm going to turn around and say, all right, it's time to do something. Let's start packing on some muscle. But I haven't felt this good in 30 plus years. Like I said, I'm 57. And I don't feel like I'm 57. Some of the issues that I've had, such as neuropathy in the feet, can't feel my feet whatsoever. But for the first time, I'm feeling a solid difference in the way that my feet and my nerve endings, my fingers feel. And all of these things started to happen as soon as I began taking certain nutrients along the way. I've gone through so many different permutations, but I want to tell you the ones that science results, double-blind, placebo-controlled, tested science is showing that, hey, this amount of certain nutrients and supplements can help you. Yes, you need your sleep. Yes, you need to be eating the right things to help absorb the nutrients that you're taking on top. But it starts here, and actually it starts here and it starts right there. For just to know that you have the drive to do it and you have the heart to do it and that you can do it. What happens really is that over time you get a very solid understanding that you can make a change. And as you start to kind of take those changes on board and you see even more changes happen, maybe it's just in the mirror. Maybe you see changes on the scale. Yes, it helps if you are not restricted diet-wise. Maybe you don't have a gallbladder. That's a huge issue if you don't have a gallbladder. I was in hospital. They wanted to take out my gallbladder. I'm like, what are you talking about? No, you're not taking out my gallbladder. So I had to self-educate. I had to realize what the risks were and what I could do about it. And to be honest, in my case, I just found that there was a lot of fear mongering, a lot of I had to fight literally like 5 different doctors just so I could not have them take out my gallbladder. I did a couple of different cleanses. I literally pooped out gallstones. And since then, I've been on a method to really kind of rid myself of a lot of the sluggish bile ducts, my gallbladder and my liver, and then just improve things over time. And then what are the signs? How can you tell if your gallbladder and your liver is starting to do well? How can you tell that you're moving things in the right direction? How do you know what's causing your diarrhea? How do you know what's causing your constipation? I want to show you what I have learned. There's some experts out there that although they've done good things for humanity, many of them, there's a couple that leave out major caveats. And I get so upset when I hear them talk about certain things and I see it from completely a different angle. And I want them to be kind of just a bit more transparent and look at things also from another side, just to say, hey, this is just one way. There are other ways. On my Facebook page, I literally try and wake people up. One of the biggest things I will tell you, one of the biggest things that I have educated myself about in the last 3 to 5 years, if you had to make an initial cut of food, what would it be? Sugar or anything cooked in seed oils like canola, like peanut and what have you. Well, it would be the seed oils. Seed oils are a lot more dangerous and I'm talking from every which way that you can imagine, from cancer, diabetes, Alzheimer's, like all of the metabolic disease, all the chronic illnesses and diseases across the board are hands down affected by seed oils. And I want to get into why, how, what's the issue. Off the top of my head, I will tell you it's omega-6 fatty acids. It's the glycated and oxidized fats and chemicals that these oils are treated in. So one of the biggest things you can do is omega-3s. Make sure that if you're eating a standard American diet, you need omega-3 fatty acids. So I want to get into all of that. But number one, right now, if there's a number one thing that you can do, you should remove, it goes without saying, anything that is processed, anything that is white flour, grains, sugar, anything that's cooked with seed oils. And it's a lot, right? To say, I can't have this anymore. But what if we were a group? What if we were a team? What if we were a little club kind of cheering each other on, helping each other along the way? Will you come and join? I wish you would. Let's be there for each other. Let's cheer each other on. Look, my way might not be your way, but together we can find a better way together. right? So just because I'm doing things one way doesn't mean you need to do things the same way. But I have been vegetarian, I have been vegan, I have done paleo, keto, carnivore. I've done it all, and I don't believe that there's any one thing that's going to fit us all. What I will wrap up by saying is that, look, we each come from a very different and unique ethnic background. That's number one. So those are the foods that, even going back over millennia, right, our ancestors were used to eating. So I'm primarily from the southwest of England. I'm mostly from the UK for many, many hundreds and hundreds of years, if not thousands of years. Before that, yeah, maybe Europe. I won't try and remember exactly where I'm from, but I think like Sweden and a lot of those places in and around that area. I can't even remember, like Iceland or all those types of places. Within me, I am capable, because my ancestors were, to be a little bit more able to digest and handle certain foods, right? Depending on where you come from, you're going to have different abilities to handle and digest different foods. So what I'm saying is, we all moved, and over the years, over the centuries, we've moved to certain places, and genetics do have a role to play, but genetics are such a minute part of this because of epigenetics. Just because you think a certain way, your family thinks maybe a slightly different way, especially as you move away, you have your own experiences, you have your own life path, you grow in a different way, you evolve in a different way. So now maybe you handle stress worse. Maybe you don't have that family support system there to help you and guide you, right? So now you are downgrading, and it's all black and white. It's all pretty simple to understand once you can wrap your head around why our cells adjust just through thoughts alone, just through the way that we think and the way that we talk and the way that we self-talk, let alone then maybe the foods that we now eat compared to our families. It all plays a part, and it all stacks up to be to play out whatever it is health-wise that we're going to experience. So I do invite you to come along. I will announce a Facebook group in time, and maybe it'll be sooner than later. I had one before, and I have one now, but the Facebook group it's being throttled, let's say, by Facebook. They won't allow certain things to be said. So I'm not sure that platform is the best platform. I'm actually thinking maybe I create somewhere within the website so that we can all kind of communicate and leave messages for each other and interact with each other a little bit better, and just kind of, hey, I'm struggling with this, what's your best, But like I said, I've been learning and I've been studying since the age of 16. That's 41 years. 41 years I've been studying diet and nutrition. In the last 4 to 5 years, I've done thousands of hours of self-education. The average doctor has done about 19 hours. I actually have the scientific paper that proves that and shows it. Again, I'm not a doctor. Please check your doctor. And it kind of pains me to say this, but check with your doctor. And if anything, what we need to do is educate our doctors. We need to help them see the light of day. And another thing that I want to do on the app is to gather a list of all the doctors that understand what a true healthy human diet is and how disease forms, what is cholesterol, what is HDL, LDL, how does that play into cardiovascular health and what have you. You don't need to be on all this stuff like I was. You don't need to be on all of this. You don't need to be injecting yourself multiple times per day like I was. Actually, yeah, this one was my nightly, and then this one was with every meal. And then I even got more supplements. I even got more blood pressure and all sorts. You know, but it takes education. It takes a little bit of learning and understanding that, all right, what am I doing to myself? What did I just eat and how is it affecting me? You know, why do I need to increase salt if I'm no longer having carbohydrates? You know, all these questions and more, so that you can live a better life, a greater life, to be there for your grandkids or achieve the life that maybe you've never been able to achieve. You know, so come along for the ride. Videos coming, and I'm coming at this from an angle of being sick. All right, now you're sick. What are you going to do? How are you going to climb out of this hole? I don't want to put you in a place of fear, but one of the recent things that have been on my radar recently has been the way that the world is going. What if something does happen? What if you can no longer get your your medication to lower your triglycerides? What if you can no longer get your statins? These are the things that I want to help you with, to show you. Don't stop taking medication. Learn how you can blow your doctor's socks off to say, holy crap, what did you do? Whatever you're doing, keep on doing it, because your triglycerides are super low. You know, your HDL is nice and high. Your LDL is the perfect ratio. What is one of the greatest metrics? What are some of the top metrics that you can follow, that you can track at home to know, are you moving the needle in the right direction? Are you getting healthier? And then beyond that, I want us to get healthy. I want us to get active, to start going out, maybe meeting up, maybe going on walks and hikes, and start kind of having something to look forward to. I'm also a trained meditator. I'm trained in social emotional learning, SEL, and I'm a certified teacher. And I'll be incorporating some of that as well into my videos. So please follow along. Sorry for the long rant, but so much to say. Thanks for watching. Bye.